All right, guys, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to just go ahead and do a quick case study. So who wants to get their program done?
Mr. Dysfunction.
Dysfunction, perfect. Dysfunction is going to really help us show this out. Also, Steve, let me see. Okay. What I'm also going to put on over here is just his little program, how he said push, pull, hip, knee, core. And we're just going to write a quick program and say, come through our red lights. That way whenever we come to a push, we can figure out which push is going to be clear, which push may not. And we can actually just start plugging in some exercises. So we've got our screen here. Now we're all on, let's just put in specific warm-up. General warm-up. Then we'll do push, pull, hip, knee, core, carry. So that's going to be a good program. So if we're looking here at Matt's screen, we've got a 3 on his deep squat. Our hurdle step, it looks like we're looking at symmetrical 2s. Inline lunge. We've got, I'll just go right first.
All the way on the right, sorry. I have like 5 scores there. The box all the way, the column on the right.
It's still same, actually you're at 2.
I wish I was a 3 though. Can we make any 3?
And then left, so we got a 2, 3. Shoulder, same thing. Active straight leg raise, symmetrical 1s. Torso stability, we're looking at a 3. And then rotary 2-1 was, do you remember which side? Because it's not written. They're kind of the right. Left was the 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is what our screen's looking like. I'm going to go through circle 1s, and I'm going to circle asymmetries. Those are 2 things that we really want to look out for. So I'm going through 2, 2, 2. We got an asymmetry here. We got an asymmetry here. We've got 1s. And we got 1s. Our scoring, I'm just going to put a total score out here too. So we got a 2, a 2, 2, 2, 1, 3, 1. And I didn't put the pain clearance test. You actually had shoulder impingement, didn't you?
Yeah, it's cleared up now. I'm good.
During the test, this is good to show too, he actually had impingement, which is going to put it to a 0, which I would say go see a clinician. Find out what's going on with the shoulder, and we move forward. But let's just say there's no impingement. Because that's our step, if there was, is you go see chiro or PT, and now we move on. So there's no pain. This is what we're looking at. We got a couple asymmetries. We got a couple 1s in here. Where do we go? What's our biggest highlight that we're going to look for? So using our pod system, pod 1, pod 2, pod 3, what is our biggest dysfunction that we're going to attack? Yep, so our straight leg raise. Perfect. So this is it. Whenever we apply corrective strategy, I know Steve already said this, we only look at one thing. We're going to fix one thing, that's our focus point. The other things we're looking at is what do we restrict? What do we not want to train? So we know what we want to fix. We want to fix our straight leg. So our straight leg raise here, this is our highlight. That's our corrective strategy. What are some of the other patterns that we might want to eliminate? We definitely want to eliminate our 1s. Those are going to be our red lights. So rotary stability, we look at a lot of power exercises. I know you guys do a lot of cleans, jerks, a lot of O lifts here. Somebody that's sitting on a 2-1, that's a good chance that they're going to come across an injury. They may pop a rib, get subluxation in a rib because they don't have the soft core ability to be able to hold on. No power exercises with that, no long distance running with that. We'll give you a list of all these exercises we want to red light on here, but if you start doing that stuff, chance of injury goes through the roof. So we've got red lights on active straight leg raise. We got red lights on rotary stability. Do we have any other red lights? Yeah, even though those are asymmetries, I'm going to be cautious, but this is where we talk red, yellow, green. This is going to be, I'm going to follow in a yellow. I'm going to be cautious here. I want to make sure that I'm really focusing in on what I'm doing whenever I'm attacking shoulders, whenever I'm attacking lunge patterns. I want to make sure that this is not neglected, but I'm not necessarily going to say, you can't do this. Good on that. You guys good on understanding the hierarchy and everything, the way that goes? Okay. Now let's just start to program. So in a specific warm-up, what are some things we may want to add into a specific? We already know our major dysfunction is our straight leg raise. So what could we sprinkle in here? Any ideas?
Leg lowering.
Leg lowering. This would be an awesome time to start to put in corrective strategy. So as soon as we're done, as soon as we start, we do our soft tissue work, our mobility, flexibility. I already know you got here. I'm going to make sure you're going to spend a lot of time anterior hip, getting a lot of hip flexors, rectus femoris, you know, even glute, hamstring. We're going to work this active straight leg raise out, some soft tissue work. Then we're going to get into our specific warm-up. So our specific warm-up, let's just do leg lowering 1. And then we can, you know, I'm just going to throw a couple exercises in here. So leg lowering 1. Do you guys know any other like straight leg raise correctives off the top of your head? I know this is some new information coming at you. We've got like a core engaged leg raise too. So we're going to use a band to help preset the core. So we got core engaged leg raise. So we're at least noticing during this specific warm-up that I'm paying attention to your dysfunctions. You guys are all going to be different. So in our personal training setting, our large group settings, what's kind of cool is everybody has this specific area. So even if we have 5, 10, 15 people going at once, you might have 5, 10, 15 different things going at once because everybody's unique. Everybody has their own things that need to be individualized, very specific. So let's break out of here. We're getting very specific to Matt here. Everybody's going to be different. General. This should be kind of easy for you guys. Let's start throwing in some general warm-up. Now we're looking at, you should be able to use this and still be able to go. So give me a couple good exercises you may want to throw in on the general warm-up.
Bear crawl.
Cool. So here we're talking mobility activation. Mobility and activation. What is something you want to mobilize with just everyone, no matter what, all the time? Cool? Ankles. Sure. Ankles. That could be. So we should probably throw something in to mobilize the ankles, something to mobilize the hips, and something to mobilize the T-spine.
T-spine extension.
So like. And then ankle, I'll just throw in something there. I'll just throw in like a half kneel ankle.
And here's a good time to talk about, too, I would love to hit any correctives for this other stuff in here once. But I'm doing like 6 sets of leg lowering in that specific, right? So I'm going to superset between leg lowering 1 and core engaged leg raise like 3 times each for a bunch of sets of that. Really driving it home. And then in here, we're doing general. But I still wouldn't mind maybe doing a level 1 corrective for rotary stability, you know what I'm saying, some of that stuff. So that's cool, just so you know. We can hit that a little bit, but it's not our main focus like the active straight leg raise.
So specific to your dysfunction, general, we refer back to here as we're filling it out. They may start to become a little. They may start to look similar in this area. However, especially somebody with a different screen, this can change as well. Then we go into our push. So we've got, I changed this to a 2. This was a 0. So that would cause a red light. Let's pretend that 0 is not there. Is there going to be any push that I'm restricting, that I'm completely red lighting, taking out of our program? And even that makes sense. That does. So yeah, I would agree. I would probably not go barbell overhead pressing with that. Getting into kettlebell work, fine. That's going to be good. But a lot of the times if you see a shoulder mobility of a 1 or 0, that's whenever we eliminate overhead pressing. We don't want somebody going overhead whenever they're in that position. So push, we're pretty well clear. Give me a push. Whatever push you guys want to do. Upper body push. There you go. Bam.
Clapping one-arm push-up.
Clapping.
We're going to do it right.
But
That's too powerful.
But that's power, and you're restricted on that. So I'm going to stop you at the push-up due to your dysfunction. Good try, though. Pull. We don't restrict pulling, so pull. Give us a pull. Cool. Hip. What's going to be a good hip exercise?
Leg lowering.
Corrective is going to be an awesome strategy here. So you can do corrective, and with somebody with like a 1-1, I'm definitely not opposed to like glute bridging, laying on your back doing glute bridges, but we definitely want to sprinkle in as much leg lowering and pattern development as possible. So leg lowering, awesome choice. So LL1.
So if you were going to train them in a hip dominant pattern, you would just do it supine.
Yep.
So just go a little.
Yep. The highest I would ever take anything like that would be like a hip thruster, but
Cool.
a knee dominant.
Would you
Is there
weight
going to
it, or
be?
are you talking body weight?
What's that?
Would you weight that? Would you do like barbell glute bridges?
I wouldn't load it.
I wouldn't load it. I try to go more just body weight. And a lot of the times I do get into the like glute bridges. A lot of the times we're stiff and we need to open up their anterior hip. So a lot of the times I might get into getting some pulsed hip flexor, opening this up, and then laying on my backside, strengthen the glutes. So we start to open that up.
From experience, I'm going to fix the active straight leg raise pattern in 2 sessions at most. So I'm not going to mess around with glute bridges and all that stuff. I'm going to fix it and get it to 2s, and then I'm going to have them do a deadlift pattern next time. You know what I'm saying? So I don't need to be like, oh, we need to get strength in your glutes right now, so we're going to do a glute bridge. I want to fix the pattern and get you doing real exercises. So that's the approach I would take. If I spent 6 months on it and it just isn't fixing and the clinician's like, and we can't find an answer, okay, now I'm going to start doing glute bridges for a strength exercise just in case. You know what I'm saying? Or just to hit posterior chain because we don't want to avoid it. But I'm going to try to fix that pattern in like the next 5 minutes because active straight leg raise is the first thing and it's the easiest thing. It's clear. So that's what I would do. And it's a judgment call too. You're still trainers. It's not like this is like the step-by-step flow chart of how you train a client. It's just how you find the big red flags that you don't mess up major stuff with. So we'd be in the right ballpark.
That's the biggest take home, is to find out what could potentially hurt somebody and get it out of their program. And then from there, it's real important to know how to fix it. But honestly, it's more important to know what's not going to hurt somebody. And then we start to learn the strategies, so let's repattern and fix this.
Sometimes the best addition to a program is subtracting something that's causing more harm than good. And that is the main premise behind screening in the first place. Find that, and that's the first thing I talked about. It's a tool that you use to find the major red flags and compensations and stuff. So that's what we're doing here. We're trying to find that big, just, whoa, I know if I have that, I know I can't have that person do a kettlebell swing because they can't lift their leg 2 inches off the ground. I know I need to get this better before I go into these high-level progressions with them. And I might not have known that. I might have had them do a weighted deadlift first, and I just would have made that pattern worse and worse and worse and worse. And it might have looked fine. And then I had them swing, and now they popped their back. But we never would have known unless we took the time to screen them out first. And that's kind of the point.
We're getting short on time, so let's get down to knee. At first, we're getting into knee. Is there any are we restricted knee dominant? So open ball game. Shoot. What was that? Goblet? Perfect. Love the goblet. So goblet squat. So we're looking at goblet.
And on the single leg variety, you're in yellow light zone, just so you know. You want to try to clear that and make it symmetrical. But I'm not going to say don't split squat on that. But if it was a 1, I would say don't split squat. As a 2, I'm going to say let's check it out, see what we can do.
And then core carry. Where should we go with our core or carry here?
Farmer's walk.
Farmer's walks, awesome carry. Now for this one, just this unique situation, once again, I'm going to try to fix that. So if you are going to do a farmer's walk, I would prefer it be like at least offset. So you're working one side and learning how to prevent that lateral flexion. But I'm probably not even going to get there with you yet until that rotary stability is cleared. I'm going to do more bird dog progressions, different things, so we can actually start to fix this pattern. So we can do bird dog progressions, we can do rock backs with arm lifts, where we rock, put a ball up against a wall where you rock back into it. That really engages the core. And then start getting into that. That would be an awesome selection to throw in here because it's really paying attention to your specific rotary stability dysfunction. And we're still getting in our core / carry.
And once again, the best thing we can do to clear this is to clear these. It's the best thing we can do. And then basically from there, conditioning, you would just make sure that they're not doing anything too crazy, kettlebell swings, anything powerful. Maybe like Airdyne bike ropes, lightweight stuff where they're not a whole lot of movement, but yet they're getting their heart rate up a little bit because this is a fat loss client. We want to get their heart rate up. We want them to know that they're getting some cardiovascular training in and things like that. So ropes are a good option there, even with an shoulder mobility, something maybe you're locked in. So.
And I know I was talking like in our group whenever we kind of were just talking, we're like, what do you got a fat loss client and when this is all correctives? So I'm like, yeah, it could be. One, it's really challenging for that person that is having a lot of dysfunction. So if it's just one all the way through, you just put a workout together of correctives that's usually going to light them up. They're going to be sweating, breathing. If they start to get that down, a lot of the times, like I was saying, I might have them do a corrective over here, and then they go over there and do a corrective, but they're constantly moving, so they're just walking from point A to point B. I don't really have them sit. You know, they may go grab a quick drink, but then they're moving. You know, so it's I'm not taking them through dysfunctional pattern. I may have them walking a little bit, so we're still getting extra calories burned. They're getting more of a workout, and then all we're doing is we're just focusing on fixing their dysfunction. So we're still getting them moving, sweating, going the direction we want them to go as far as fat loss. But as far as training goes, we're fixing their dysfunction so we don't stack fitness on that dysfunction. So I think we went pretty well over exactly what we're looking for here, getting to see how we kind of sprinkle this stuff into warm-ups. Our warm-ups, like I'll write everybody's warm-up is a little bit different. Like even in our general warm-up, I'll have general warm-up exercises, but I'm always coming back to this to find out if I should sprinkle in more T-spine rotation or whatever the heck I'm looking for. On this side, I'm going to just really hammer here, red light here, and then start to sprinkle that right back in that strength portion.
With this information that we gave you today, with the posters that you have access to from Volume 1 and all the stuff that we've given you, you don't have to necessarily know all the philosophy behind everything and why every movement does this and that. All you need to know is this pattern is not the correct pattern, and I need to intervene with a correction to make this pattern the right pattern. You don't need to know that glute medius isn't firing correctly at this portion of, you know, degrees of rotation and stability on the other side of the hip and all that stuff. You don't need to know that. It's great to know that, and that's why we recommend getting certified from the FMS going forward and going to all the different seminars that Gray and Lee and everybody that works with the FMS does to learn more about the philosophies behind it and the intricate details. But take home today, we're looking for those red flags. We're looking for any gross movement issues that are causing just massive dysfunction, and we're looking to just make sure that people don't do that big stuff that's going to cause them more harm than good. And we're going to throw in some corrective strategies to try to fix that stuff along the way. So any questions overall?
Q&A. You had one.
Didn't I can't remember it. I was asking, like, you answered actually. I was asking which angle you prefer the inline lunge, but I think we talked about that already.
Yeah, most of these we try to get multiple angles. So I was congratulating a couple people because I saw them look, and then the little thing I saw, they immediately came over, I forget who it was, and got that view that made that little dysfunction, that spot that out better. All these, like our squat, there's 3 angles I like. So I like to look a forward view, get a better view of what's going on knee. I like side view, that really lets you see if that bar is going over. And then sometimes, like if I think there may be a weight shift, getting behind them, you can really start to see if there's, you know, a right versus left weight shift on there as well. So the view's awesome. You guys did a pretty good job of that. Naturally, you just start to get better at that as, oh, if I'm standing here, that glute might be blocking to see if it comes off the sacrum. Just move. Any other questions?
So I don't know if you guys work with many athletes at all, but like, so let's say, you know, we get a lot of football kids, high school football kids, they're squatting like 4 or 5 times a week at school, you know, they come here training with us. Let's say we run them, you know, through an FMS and, you know, his deep squats a 1 or something, which is ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you sell that to the athlete? Like, just give me some tips on that.
They're not squatting at my facility. What their coach wants to do with them, that's out of my hands. I'm going to do my best to get that coach not to squat them and to understand the philosophies that are going with it. But once again, if they're going into a different situation, and sometimes in those high school situations, it sucks. You know, we might have a good understanding, but coach doesn't care. You're squatting even if you're squatting like this. You know, so that's to where I know Will does an awesome job communicating with coaches and things like that. I would do my best to get in touch with the coach to say, he's got this going on. You know what? If his active straight leg raise, though, is money, just be like, deadlift the guy. You know, get him in good form and deadlift him until the cows come home. Just don't squat him yet. His squat's no good. All it's going to do is start to regress and, you know, potentially lead to an injury, and he's going to be off the field. You know, so that's just where communication with coach is going to come in huge. It's hard to handle that.
And, you know, I'll sometimes just offer an alternate to the coach. Like, if I know the coach is going to squat him at 400 pounds regardless, I'm going to be like, hey, man, I did some deep analysis on this person. I realized that if they squat, it's going to cause them, like, some back pain in the future. I want to make sure they stay on the field. If you have to squat them, can you at least put their heels up? Because I know if they squat with their heels up, at least it's going to be in that 2 range where they can knock it out as a 2. It's not going to be horrible. And over time, can you just kind of gradually step down the amount of heel lift, and we would be awesome. And you just ask them one little thing, please. You know what I'm saying? You're not like, you suck, and you're having my athlete squat 400 pounds, and they can't even squat at all, and you're an idiot. You got to be like, man, awesome job. He's killer. You're doing great stuff. But I did notice that if he squats without his heels lifted, it's going to cause him back pain for sure. So if we could just have his heels up a little bit and gradually knock that down. And when he deadlifts, his back is rounded. He's not in a good position. So I'm working on some stuff with him right now that's going to be able to have him deadlift in like 2 weeks. If I don't have him out of that where he can deadlift in 2 weeks, I'm wrong and I'm an idiot. But I'm going to send him back to you in 2 weeks able to deadlift. Is that okay? And then is that okay? I asked you permission ask the coach's permission. Don't tell them what to do, and just work with them, and you should be good.